My 6-year-old daughter accidentally told my wife what her birthday gift was. Her recovery plan was brilliantly ridiculous. I've always known my daughter Emma was quick thinking, but watching her create an elaborate scheme to fix her accidental spoiler about my wife's birthday gift showed me she might have a future in crisis management minus, or perhaps creative fiction. It started 3 weeks before my wife's birthday. Emma and I had gone secret shopping while my wife was at her yoga class. After careful deliberation in the jewelry section, which mostly involved Emma asking which necklaces were sparkly enough for Patches, we selected a silver locket that could hold tiny photos of our family. Emma took her role as co-conspirator, very seriously whispering dramatically whenever we discussed the birth admission and making a show of changing the subject whenever my wife entered the room. She was the perfect secret keeper, minus until she wasn't. The slip happened during breakfast on a Tuesday. My wife mentioned needing a new necklace for her work event, and Emma's eyes went wide with excitement. Mommy, you don't need to buy a necklace because Daddy and I got you the prettiest locket ever, and it's silver and heart-shaped, and we're going to put our pictures inside. The kitchen fell silent. Emma's hand slowly moved to cover her mouth, her eyes growing even wider as she realized what she'd done. My wife, bless her, feigned shock. Molly, that sounds— Wait, what locket? Emma looked at me in panic, then back to my wife. I expected tears or embarrassment, but instead she straightened her shoulders and said with remarkable confidence, I didn't say locket, I said rocket. We got you a rocket, a toy rocket because you always say you are shooting for the stars at work. My wife and I exchanged glances, trying desperately not to laugh. A rocket? My wife asked. That's very thoughtful. Yes, Emma nodded vigorously. A rocket, not a necklace, never a necklace. Necklaces are boring. I thought that would be the end of it, but Emma was just getting started. Over the next 3 weeks, she launched what I can only describe as a disinformation campaign. She began leaving toy rocket drawings around the house. She asked loudly if we could watch space movies because Patchage loves rockets so much. She even convinced her kindergarten teacher to help her make a paper rocket during art time, which she proudly presented to my confused wife. This is just like your birthday present will be, she announced, winking at me with all the subtlety of a flashing billboard. The night before my wife's birthday, Emma pulled me aside in the hallway. Daddy, she whispered, do you think Patches still remembers about the locket? I am not sure, sweetheart. You've been talking about rockets an awful lot. She nodded seriously. I think my plan worked. She's going to be so surprised. On the morning of my wife's birthday, Emma could barely contain herself as my wife unwrapped the small jewelry box. What could this be? My wife wondered aloud. Maybe a toy rocket, Emma giggled uncontrollably. Just open it, Patches. When my wife revealed the locket, Emma jumped up and down. Are you surprised, are you? I never told you it was a necklace. I said it was a rocket. My wife hugged her tight. I am completely shocked. I had absolutely no idea. Later, after Emma went to bed, my wife and I laughed until we cried. You know, my wife said, fastening her new locket. I am almost disappointed. It wasn't actually a rocket. I smiled. Here is always Christmas. Now whenever Emma accidentally reveals a surprise, she doesn't get upset minus. She just looks at us solemnly and says, I need to make some rocket drawings. It's become our family's code for I messed up, but I have a plan.